outside. I know what my room look like. I don't want everybody else knowing my damn room. My damn room look like phone. Act right. What's up, family? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I'm sitting here waiting on my computer to act right. I'm gonna get rid of this computer. It's time for a new one. But then I'm gonna clean it first. Clean that baby so it'll act right. I feel like making me a video. I want to talk about black history from a biblical standpoint, so the brothers and sisters will understand. Don't say I ain't never taught you nothing. Negroes' history, the culture of the Negro aligns with the Bible. That's why no nation. That's why ain't nobody so quick to tell you who you are. Because then they're gonna have to go into the Bible to explain all the questions, all the things we've been through, the questions surrounding why do we go through what we go through, what we've been through. And I say that because what we've been through, the foundation of it is biblical. This is your history. This is why you are set apart from any other people. This is why you're different. It's biblical. And because it's biblical, we know it's a power. Instead of looking at things based on through a world lens, which we know is true, you see the evidence of the things that happen. So there ain't no question. But these things, we must understand, happen for a reason. Well, we'd be stuck talking about what the white man did, fighting political campaigns and all other campaigns to become part of a system that ain't going to accept you no matter what you do. That you need to learn and understand. And once you get that, we can move forward as a people on purpose. But your purpose don't look nothing like theirs. They don't have like you looking for justice for what they've done. They don't have the spirit to even create such a thing like that. They can care less about you looking for justice for what happened. They showing you. They showing you. They don't. I'm talking about the decision makers. How do you come to the decision to just disregard the people? But then again, at some point, the people got to stop looking for an answer from them. That's the purpose of me going into this Bible, tapping into this word. This is who we are. And I'm going to keep on talking about it, family. We'll never stop talking about it. And I know a lot of y'all probably hear us. And y'all wonder, are they telling the truth? All you got to do is open the book to the scriptures. That I know that's all you have to do with me. Open the book and turn to the scriptures that I share. It's just that simple. Am I trying to convert you? No, I can't convert you. Only the Holy Spirit or the Father can. But I'm going to bring, and what did it say? It's going to bring all things to your remembrance. But you got to get this word to remember something. You ain't going to change nothing or establish nothing. What you think creates an effect. Get them instructions and follow it and see where it leads you. But as it speaks to the Negro, this not just to point to, oh, we the people, we God's people. No, because there's an action behind that. How we come on here talking about we don't get the support, you even heard me saying it, but then I have to think, okay, you're a part of this, the kingdom. Kingdom has commonwealth, meaning the wealth of the king is common. You supposed to, that's a law as it relates to the people of the book. So I'm gonna get out that mindset of thinking like the world, like, oh, I wouldn't ask the people. I'm gonna ask the people for everything I need if I need them. Because if I seen them destitute or in help, I wouldn't dare close my door. I'm gonna open my door for the brothers and sisters. those who are of Christ. Stop playing. And that's who we are, brothers and sisters. Love is the commandment. That's a law that the Most High has given us that separates us. The world is full of hate. They preparing to drop bombs, or they questioning because Iran saying they got some information they can put out to show that others probably don't want others to see. But we done seen it all. They act like we slow. Ain't been no movement to justice about nothing. But am I complaining? No. I'm just pointing out. In a world, that's what you face there. That's what you face with. But in the kingdom, it's different. How you gonna say it's king? We go to church, they the same. Yeah, because they are aligned with that government, the same government you having problems out of. The churches of the world are aligned with them. They got contracts with them. Who you think controls the levies? I mean the contracts, and they do tax them. And they do tax them. So there is a levy against them operating. They got to pay your bills. That ain't got nothing to do with the kingdom. That's democracy at work, family. That's the problem. I guess they're about to start voting too. I called my homie to get a ride to the supply house so I can go get these t-shirts for tomorrow. I'm gonna get straight up. That's my shot. I don't got no cars lined up, so that's where I'm going. Shoot straight to the supply house. About 9:30. Shoot out here and go get to it. Stand on my shirt business. Because I realize that shirt business is important. You can push a lot of information out through them shirts that can't nobody else own. I mean, can't nobody else control. You know, like on these platforms, you say certain things, they coming for your head. They'll shut your channel down. And you don't mean nobody no harm. You found out some information and you want to share it with your people. You excited about it. But don't be too excited, family. Talk about what you talk about, but I wouldn't be too excited because the next person might not be too excited. You got to realize we've been taught to see things a certain way, and there are a lot of people not gonna go along with what you reading and interpret. Brave woman defends the king on Mali Najee. You're supposed to defend your people. Don't. Oh wow, Big U got caught on wild top. They tripping. Trust none, suspect all. I will have to. I want to hear this. The second Exodus. Ooh, talking about the Bible come alive. Our people going into, and it show you, you know these guys people. Ain't no other nation of people going into that book. You got one group from the sons from the Isles of the Gentiles, Japhet. You got the Ashkenaz. Now they okay. They don't even know that book like that. They gonna tell you about another book. Ask them questions about the Bible. The people who in the book. You can ask a Christian, a black Baptist. You can ask anybody. Ask them who are the people of the book and watch the answers that you get. You're gonna get a million different answers. Then they so strong with it where they think they control the kingdom of heaven. That's just how crazy this thing is. The world gone mad, stark raving mad. Real talk. You can't control the kingdom. The Most High deals with all his creation as he sees fit to. The Hebrews, the real, true Hebrews, we know who they are today. Thank the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Thank him for being able to read, to come into this information. And as far as me questioning or needing approval of any outside source, no. It resonates in my spirit. I know who we are. Yeah, they can take all that history, which they recorded and put out. The book tells us that they would. This nation will be judged for the things they did. Why is Trump removing these things? Because he feels some kind of way about the world seeing them in what their ancestors did to our people in the past. That's one of the reasons why he said it. Predicated on prejudice or whatever, however you describe it, I can care less. But I understand. He know there's something wrong with that. That's not normal. You know, he know that. Trying to hide it ain't gonna get it because you just admitting your guilt. You know, if you ain't did nothing, leave it up. But you're admitting the guilt. And that's why I came to Genesis 15 because it speaks of God's people. Now, the world not going to tell you the Negroes are Hebrews by bloodline Israelite because the God of Israel chose them to serve him. Their ancestors, they have an eternal covenant. There is no, yes, he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, but the invitation is to all. And they are a part. Some of them, Judeans, Southern Kingdom, the original bloodline of the Shemite people. And some went to form northern northern kingdom, the house of Israel, which is God's firstborn. Jacob, the Shemites are servants of the God of Israel, and that's their nation, the nation they're from. That's why I connect everything about us to the Bible. That's our foundation, family. This is Bible 101. Knowing that this book is just not talking about no anybody. And yes, the invitation is to all to serve our Elohim. But the truth of the matter is, we're his people. We're the people that you're reading about in that Bible as it relates to what's going on with the Negroes, wherever we've been scattered into. We are the descendants of those. What went on and how can we fix it? You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, the solution is right there in the Bible. You are a biblical people. That's why they have no answer for you. Because, first of all, they don't even understand things of the Spirit. Christ told you in John chapter 14, verse 16, unless man can see it, he won't understand things of the Spirit. They are deny the truth, but we know better, family. We know now. Hey, the top is off the lid. You can't cover this one up. But do we stay stuck there? No. That's a breath of fresh air. If you've been stuck in life anywhere, this is it. This that wake up call. Ding. Oh man. Okay. Now it's time to shift. Let me return to the covenant. Let me read this. Because yes, we've been taught to look at the Bible a certain way, but then when you go and read it, which this is not just for your eternal salvation, but for right now. You are service right now. The kingdom is operating right now. You don't, this ain't no once a week going to church, nothing. This is eternal kingdom. So you should be an eternal posture of worship. It don't stop. That's the we get it wrong. Yeah, to religious people that don't, who the Most High wasn't dealing with, I can see them not being able to interpret it and coming up with religion and ideas, ideas of how they think. Because that's to me, I agree with the brother. Religion is man's attempt. Dr. Miles Monroe, rest in peace. He preached kingdom, family, and you need to revisit that word with that in that mindset, looking at it from a kingdom perspective, having a king, a kingdom, and kingdom laws that the citizens of that kingdom must keep and follow. This fair use copyright. I'm gonna go in Genesis 15, and he said unto Abram, it's Genesis 15, verse 13. Fair use copyright, fair use copyright. I want to hear that because I know it's about time. Ezekiel 37, people will understand. Jeremiah 31, people don't understand. He's come back for the descendants of those who were scattered. 140,000, and he's going to put them in the land. So that would be like The first fruits who you hear around here talking and making and ridiculing and being cut off from, for no reason other than speaking the truth. It's not that you're trying to start a cult or force people to follow you or nothing. Not me. No, I barely even have people coming on here listening to what I'm saying. They listening to these cats that's running to the world and look like they doing something big, but internally, family, they fending for them and their loved ones. They ain't putting nothing together where it's drawing them. Now, I could be wrong in some cases, but I don't see none of these groups putting together nothing other than Pastor Dow. In that community, that's a real community. They done came out of the world and building the kingdom right here. This is where you're gonna rule. They are really building it. They really doing it. All praise to the Most High. They get the, they got the memo. You can say what you want about them. They live in kingdom over there. They establish a kingdom. You're not leaving here. You're gonna be on earth. Thy kingdom come. So we stop looking to lead the earth. He made you ruler here, and he's gonna re-establish. He's going to put all things back in place, and you will rule with him. I wouldn't worry about the rulership, though. I wouldn't worry about that part, because right now I would be focused on really knowing the time according to the scripture. What you see going on with the Western nations is I equate it to biblical prophecy. Genesis 15, not the 400 years. That's what I began to read here, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Family, that happened 1619. Now to those before that and come after that, I can't speak for you. I'm talking about what the British did. British. My last name is one of them people name. Came out of Britain. So I understand what them people did. We know. We know who we are. And for we know by the word. For salvation is of Yahudi. Do y'all today I had a revelation that I've been reading that all this time and I'm like, they say salvation is of the Jew. That is a word a name that derived from Judea. So I understand, but understanding even more, that means salvation. Who is Yahuwah's salvation? Yahushua. You look up salvation in the Hebrew, it's going to come back to Yahushua. Yeshua. Can't make this up. For salvation is of Yeshua. For salvation is of Judah. Well, Yeshua. It says Judah, but salvation is of salvation. That word salvation, it carries a meaning in itself in the Hebrew. Salvation in the Hebrew is I believe that word is H3444, which is also in you gotta look it up. Yeah, which is also used the same way in Exodus 15, verse 2, by Moses. He said he seen the salvation of Yahuwah. You look that word up in the Hebrew, Exodus 15. The book is powerful. The book will teach you instead of you trying to interpret everything based on what somebody else interpreted. You know, what somebody else, what someone else interpreted. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but you're gonna have to go in there yourself. There you go. Exodus, verse 15, chapter 15, verse 2. Yahuwah is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my Elohim, and I will prepare him an habitation. That's what we're doing now. When we come together and meeting on this word, when two or three are gathered in his name, he's there in the midst of us. My Father's Elohim, and I will exalt him. Hallelujah. But that word salvation is H3444 in the Hebrew, and it comes back to Yeshua. Yeah. So that for salvation is of the Jew. Salvation, that salvation is of who? Yahushua. Yah's salvation is Yahushua. John chapter 4. That's where it's used. Is it used in the same sense as Exodus verse 3, verse 2? I believe so. Because it's speaking about the salvation of Yahuwah. Chapter 4, John chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what. We worship. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. For salvation. We know that's not so. Salvation. That word salvation right there is H in the Strong's Concordance Bible Dictionary. You could Google it. H 3444. And it's going to define Yeshua. God's salvation is Yeshua, the Messiah, the Holy One of Israel. Hallelujah. It's not his people. You don't get salvation through them. You get salvation through his word. His word is Yeshua. He is the living word of Yahuwah come in the flesh. John chapter 1, verse 12. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become sons of Elohim. Who? Yahushua. Even to them that believe on his name. Because when you believe on his name, you believe in the totality of him. You operate in his character. So when you come before the Most High, you submit this word to him and pray and make your supplications known, and you thank him and keep it moving, knowing that it shall be done. Even to them that believe on his name. Verse 13, which were born not of the blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Elohim. Verse 14, and the word was made flesh. Who's the word? And dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father. Who? Full of grace and truth. You already know who that is. That's the Messiah. He's the salvation of Yahuwah. He is, for we know salvation is of salvation. We know Yahushua is the salvation of the Most High. The Bible is old. It's so powerful, family. And these revelations are for we know it's been given to us to know, but if you don't do something with it, you're going to be stagnant in life. In all areas of life, you will stagnate yourself. We looking at it, like I say, like we've been taught to look at it as religion, as if it has no effect on our lives. We running to and fro questioning everything when in situations like, how can I overcome this situation? What can I do to put myself in a position, and not just me, but even those that are connected to you. It could be your children, it could be your parents, your brothers, your sisters. You want for you, you want for your people what you want for yourself, right? That's how the sons of the Most High move. And one thing, I want to check this video out. I'm going to hit this. Fair use copyright. Fair use copyright. Ready for the second Exodus. Yeah, because Deuteronomy 28, he scattered you, but he going to be gathered you. Let's see what they on, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. Let's see what the brothers and sisters are on. See if they got that truth or they just talking. They know that truth. We already know the jumbo. We enough of that with the already know it's how people be making. I don't know how y'all be listening to them jokers. I don't think teaching you how to be destructive and to have an attitude with everybody like, man, stop playing. I want to hear all that, Mom. I might want to hear all that confusion, drama. Some of y'all into drama though. A lot of y'all. 1,000 people listen to that shit, dropping money. I'll be like, huh? Oh, come on, my son, drop that money so I can go get all these tools, fix y'all car, fix y'all children car. You can get a better return with one. Dealership gonna jack your ass up. You gonna wish you was the one. Just keep running that bread. Let's see what they talking about. Let's learn something.
So let's address the elephant in the room. The signal is getting louder and the noise is deafening. Everyone asks the same question, just phrased 100 different ways. It's the question that keeps you up at night, scrolling through feeds, looking for an answer that feels solid. How do I prep for the second exodus? Should I buy gold? Should I buy a bunker? Should I stock up on beans, bullets, and bandages? Should I bug out and create a checklist, a shopping list for the end of the Gentile era? And I say, they're preparing for collapse. We're prepping for an exodus. Those are two different things. They are fundamentally different operations with entirely different objectives. A collapse is passive. It's intricate. It's what happens when a system runs out of energy and simply stops. It's chaotic, unpredictable, a slow, grinding decay, or a sudden catastrophic failure. In a collapse, you are a victim of circumstance. You hunker down, you ride it out. You hope to pick up the pieces of the old world. An exodus is active. It is commanded. It is a guided, purposeful extraction from one reality into another. It's not about surviving the fall of Babylon. It's about being called out of Babylon altogether. Look, this isn't a shopping list problem. It's a direction problem. It's a jurisdiction problem. Who has authority over your next move? Your fear or your faith? The headlines or the Most High? The second exodus isn't a camping trip, it's a forensic extraction. Think about that word, forensic. It implies a detailed, systematic examination, an investigation. This isn't a panicked stampede for the exits. It's a precise, deliberate process of being identified, verified, and removed from a compromised environment. It's a divine rescue operation, and you have to be ready for pickup. The blueprint is already there. Family, listen to me. You cannot buy a bunker and call it the Exodus. Yirmiyahu 16:14-15 and 23:7-8 is clear. The days are coming when the Red Sea crossing will be forgotten, overshadowed by what happens next. But notice the mechanic, the Elohim who brought them up. This isn't a retreat. This isn't a camping trip. This is a sovereign extraction. If he doesn't gather you, you aren't the remnant nor the cleaved stranger. So the question isn't, where is your map? The question is, do you hear his voice? We're not packing for a weekend. We're preparing for extraction. And extraction requires you to be extractable. Mobile, unencumbered. Your attachments are liabilities. Your debts are chains. Your idols are anchors. Detach first, move second. That's the order. That is the non-negotiable sequence of operations. You do the spiritual and logistical work of detachment in the relative calm. You make yourself ready to be moved, because when the call comes, there will be no time to negotiate with your possessions or your sentimentality. Listen, this is not stay and fix. The time for fixing is over. The system has been weighed, measured, and found wanting. This is get called and go. It's a summons. You are being summoned for departure. From here on out, we follow protocol, not trends, not the talking heads on the screen or the fear merchants in the comments. Protocol, ancient, tested, divinely inspired protocol. This is the shift we have to make, from prepper to practitioner, from consumer to covenant keeper. Are you ready? We're moving past the general warnings in Yirmiyahu. We're getting into the specific field manual. Ezekiel 20. This is the protocol brief for the second exodus. It's the debrief of the first attempt and the pre-brief for the next one. It details the oath, the statutes, the rebellion, the mercy, and the discipline. It's the standard against which we will be measured. This is where it gets real. This is where we move from theory to practice, from awareness to action. Everything from this point forward is about internalizing these protocols. So brace yourself. The real training begins now. First step, open Yirmiyahu chapter 12, verses 3-8. We're going to dissect the protocol for detachment. This isn't theory. This is a field manual for spiritual extraction. The process begins with a diagnosis, a hard look in the mirror provided by the Most High. You need to understand the state of your own heart before you can understand the command to move. This isn't about feeling good, it's about getting free. The words on this page are not ancient history. They are an active intelligence briefing for the remnant right now. They describe a condition and prescribe a cure. Pay close attention. This is the scary part nobody talks about. The part that gets glossed over in feel-good sermons. We like to imagine our departure from Babylon as a triumphant, voluntary march, a parade. But the text tells a different story. It reveals a surgical procedure that has to be performed before you can even take the first step out. It's the pre-op. And it's not gentle. Jeremiah 12:3, Yahuwah says, pull them out like sheep for the slaughter, and separate them for the day of slaughter, and let that sink in. He's speaking to Jeremiah about his own people, the ones who know his name, but whose hearts are far from him. This isn't an enemy action. This is a divine command. It's an internal purge of his people. That means the separation is violent. It's sudden. It's not a gentle drift. It's a yank. It's a forceful extraction from a place you've grown comfortable in, even if it's killing you. Think of a medic pulling a soldier from a burning vehicle. There's no time for negotiation, no time for a long goodbye. The yank is act of preservation. Because you are being pulled from the path of a judgment you cannot withstand. Verse 9 calls the heritage a speckled bird. This is the diagnosis. A bird of prey was speckled, not pure, not uniform. It's a creature of two worlds, belonging to neither. That means you are mixed, one foot in the kingdom and one foot in Babylon. You listen to praise music on the way to a job that compromises your integrity. You talk about the Most High, but your entertainment choices, your financial habits, your daily conversations are indistinguishable from the world around you. You're trying to serve two masters, and the result is a spiritual schizophrenia. You are confused. You love the culture that hates you. You seek validation from the very systems designed to oppress you. You want a seat at their table, a promotion in their corporation, a light on their platform. You're a speckled bird, camouflaged by the patterns of the world, and the other birds of prey, the pure predators of the system, are gathered against you because they sense you are not one of them. Yet, you are not fully of the kingdom either. You are exposed. So, to prepare, you have to kill the speckled bird inside you. This is the internal work. It's a conscious decision to choose a side, once and for all. It means you must execute the part of you that finds comfort in the enemy's camp. You must starve the appetites that Babylon feeds. This is the heart of repentance, a turning away from one thing and a turning toward another. It is a violent act against your own compromised nature. A speckled bird is a mixed bird. It has the feathers of the kingdom and the feathers of Babylon. And what happens to the speckled bird? The other birds turn on. If you're trying to be a dual citizen, holding on to the world while holding on to Yahuwah, you are a speckled bird. And the beasts of the field are gathering to devour you. You must wash off the spots. You must be fully set apart. You cannot survive the second Exodus if you are still trying to look like Egypt. Stop loving the system that enslaved you. Stop admiring its architecture, its media, its politics, its philosophy. See it for what it is. A cage with comfortable bedding, a beautifully decorated prison. You have to develop a holy revulsion for it. Not a bitter carnal anger, but a righteous disgust born from a love for the truth and a desire for purity. You must see the chains, even the golden ones, as chains. You can't exit a system you're still emotionally married to. If you secretly hope for its reform, if you grieve its decay, if you are invested in its success, your anchor is set too deep. You will hesitate when the call comes. You will try to bring baggage that belongs in the fire. The emotional divorce must precede the physical departure. Your heart has to leave before your feet can. If you're still trying to fix the politics of the West, you aren't ready to leave. If your primary identity is tied to a political party, a national flag, or a social movement in Babylon, you are a speckled bird. The Exodus requires a singular allegiance. You are a citizen of a coming kingdom, an ambassador in a foreign land. Your job is not to redecorate the embassy, it's to await extraction orders from your king. Look, this is a heart eviction, not a hashtag. It's a deep, painful, personal process of uprooting idols. It's not a public performance. It's the quiet, agonizing work you do on your knees when no one is watching. It's confessing your attachments, your compromises, your secret love for the world, and asking the Most High to give you a new heart, a whole heart, an undivided heart. Detachment isn't anger, it's clarity. Anger is an emotional attachment. It's the flip side of love. True detachment is a state of sober spiritual neutrality toward the system. You see it clearly, without the fog of emotion. You don't hate it, you just recognize it's not your fault. It has no claim on it. Its rewards are traps, and its punishments are irrelevant. This clarity is a gift. It's the peace that allows you to move with precision and without regret. When the fall comes, you need fewer anchors, not more. Every worldly ambition, every material possession, you can't walk away from. Every relationship that isn't aligned with the kingdom is an anchor. Start cutting them now. Travel that. The command to Abraham was, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house. It was a command to sever ties. The same principle applies. Audit your life. What is weighing you down? What would you refuse to leave behind? That's your anchor. That's what needs to be unmoored. Here's the kicker. The yank is mercy. Delay is the danger. The longer you stay attached, the more entangled you become. The longer you remain a speckled bird, the more you resemble the birds of prey circling you. The sudden pull, as jarring as it is Yahuwah's grace. He is pulling you out before the structure collapses. He is separating you for slaughter, not to be destroyed, but to be consecrated, set apart for his purpose. Just as a sheep is separated for a holy sacrifice, it's a death to the old self, so you can live for the new covenant. Some departures you plan. This one plans. You don't get to choose the timing. You don't get to dictate the terms. Your job is to be in a state of readiness, packed, detached, and listening. When the signal is given, you move. No hesitation. This is why the internal work is so critical. If your heart is still in Babylon, you will argue with the command. You will second guess the signal. You will be lost wide, looking back and turning into a pillar of salt, a monument to indecision. So step 1, detach. Kill the speckled bird. Evict Babylon from your heart. Step 2, stay responsive. Live in a state of readiness with your ear tuned to the Creator's frequency. Step 3, don't look back when you are pulled out, when you are set on the path. Fix your eyes forward on the prize, on the high calling. The past is a trap. We leave mixtures behind. We go out whole. The purpose of this violent separation is to create a pure, consecrated people, a people with an undivided heart, ready to enter into a covenant bond. You cannot walk into the wilderness of testing as a speckled bird. You must be transformed. The detachment is the beginning of that transformation. It is the prerequisite for the journey. Next, who is leaving? Ezekiel 37. Now, before we talk about leaving,
family, I always said that. I just said Ezekiel. People don't believe Ezekiel 37 and 38. That is before the end time judgment and gathering of Yah's people and those of the nations that love him. Family, he's going to regather Judah and Israel, and they're going to go, they're the forerunners. They're going to go back into the kingdom. I always said that. Dig that. That's why I want to watch this. I agree.
We have to talk about who is leading. This isn't a disorganized retreat.
Just
this is a
Israel,
prophesied
Judah.
gathering. The first question you must answer, the absolute first protocol, is one of identity. Who are you in this story? Because this isn't just about you as an individual securing a personal exit plan. This is about a nation being reassembled from scattered fragments across the globe. It's about a family reunion at the end of history. Your personal preparation is meaningless if you don't know which part of the family you belong to. The operational blueprint for this phase is laid out in Ezekiel 37, verses 15 through 20. This isn't just poetry, it's a divine intelligence briefing. The word of the Most High comes to the prophet with direct physical command, a tangible, real-world action that unlocks a spiritual reality. He says, Son of man, take a stick and write on it. For Yehuda and the people of Yasharal associated with him. This is the first piece of the puzzle, the first identifier. The prophet is told to take 2 sticks, one for Yehuda and one for Joseph, which the text clarifies is the stick of Ephraim and all the house of Yasharal associated with him. Pay attention to the specifics. These aren't just 2 random pieces of wood. They represent 2 distinct, historically separated, and often antagonistic houses of a single family. For millennia, they have been divided. A kingdom split by civil war, scattered by different captivities, and sent on divergent paths through history. One held onto the scepter, the lineage of the king. The other received the birthright, the promise of multiplicity, becoming a multitude of nations scattered among the Gentiles. They forgot each other. They forgot their shared origin. They even forgot, in many cases, who they were. And what happens? The command is to join them one to another into one stick, that they may become one in your hand. They become one in his hand. This is not a negotiation. It's not a merger brokered by men. It is a supernatural act, a creative miracle performed by the hand of the prophet, symbolizing a future act performed by the hand of the Almighty himself. The division that has defined ages is erased in a moment. The 2 become one. The schism is healed. The family is made whole. This is the core principle of the final gathering. This is crucial. The preparation for the second Exodus involves identifying which stick you are. This is your primary task right now. You must perform a diagnostic on your own heart, your own awakening. What was the catalyst for your journey? What truth shook you from your slumber? The answer determines your camp, your tribe, your initial role in this great reunion. Are you the house of Yehuda, waking up to the Messiah? Have you been part of a people who have guarded the oracles, the lineage, the name, but perhaps missed the identity of the king who came from among you? Is your awakening a revelation that Yeshua, the one the Gentile nations have called Jesus, is in fact the promised Messiah of Yasharal, the line of the tribe of Yehuda? If so, your stick is Yehuda. You bring the scepter, the royal line, the prophetic foundation of the king. Or are you the house of Ephraim, waking up to the Torah? Have you been scattered among the nations, assimilated?
He is Yahuwah's salvation. That word salvation in the Strong's Bible Dictionary is H for Hebrew, Strong's number 3444. Look it up. Yah's salvation is Yeshua.
Laws. Was your identity as a Gentile Christian the only one you ever knew until the Spirit of the Most High began to stir in you a hunger for His way, a desire to keep the Sabbath, to eat clean, to observe the appointed times? Is your awakening a revelation that the instructions for living, the Torah, were never abolished and are the very constitution of the kingdom you claim to belong to? If so, your stick is Ephraim. You bring the birthright, the numbers, the fulfillment of the promise to become a multitude of nations. The second Exodus is the supernatural merger of these two camps. It is the prophesied collision of these two grand awakenings. Yehuda, with the testimony of the Messiah, meets Ephraim with the rediscovered love for the Torah. And in their meeting, they find they are holding two halves of the same truth. There are two sides of the same coin. This is not a replacement, it is a restoration. So stop fighting with your brother. The infighting must cease immediately. The doctrinal wars, the accusations, the pride in one part of the awakening over the other. It is a relic of the division, a tool of the enemy to prevent this very prophecy from coming to pass. If you are from Yehuda and you look down on your brother from Ephraim as a lawless Gentile, you are fighting the plan. If you are from Ephraim and you look down on your brother from Yehuda for not seeing things exactly as you do, you are sabotaging the mission. If you are Torah only and hate the Spirit, or Spirit only and hate the law, you are holding a broken stick. You are clinging to a fragment and calling it the whole. A Torah without the Spirit that writes it on the heart is dead legalism. A spirit without the Torah as its guide is chaotic and untethered from the character of the Father. You are presenting a fractured piece to the prophet and wondering why it cannot be joined. The problem isn't the other camp. The problem is the splinter in your own hand. The Exodus requires the unification of both. It demands it. The journey ahead is too perilous for a divided house. The challenges will require the full counsel of the Most High, which is found in the marriage of His law and His Spirit. The Torah provides the blueprint for the society we are to build. The Spirit provides the power to build it. One without the other leads to failure. One king shall be king to them all. This is the ultimate outcome. The unification of the people is for the purpose of serving a single king, the Messiah. He will not rule over a fractured people. He will not be king of one camp, but not the other. He is the king of all Yasharal, and all Yasharal must be gathered for him to rule. Be ready to walk beside people you used to argue with. Be ready to embrace his family, those you once labeled as heretics, the person you debated online, the congregation you dismissed, the teacher you maligned. They may be the very brother or sister the Father is joining you to. Humility is the currency of this new economy. Forgiveness is the passport. Unity isn't a trend, it's covenant. It is the very substance of the new covenant, which promises one heart and one way. This isn't about being trendy or creating a popular movement. It's about fulfilling the sworn oaths of the Almighty, gifts and guidelines, breadth and boundaries, together, the charismatic gifts of the Spirit and the righteous guidelines of the Torah. The breath of Ruach HaKodesh and the boundaries of the Father's instructions. They are not enemies, they are partners. They are the two lungs with which the restored body of Yasharal will breathe. This is not a brand merger, it's a bloodline reunion. We are not combining denominations. We are regrafting a family tree whose roots are in Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and whose lifeblood is the blood of the Lamb. Your identity is not in a church name or a ministry logo. Your identity is in this bloodline. One hand, one road, one purpose. Identify your stick. Find your brother. Let the prophet join you together. Only then are you ready for the command to move. When we look at the 12 tribes, we see the concentration of the seed in the Americas, Yehuda, Ephraim, Yissachar, and the rest of the tribe. But we must not forget the four corners prophecy. If we take the populations of these awakening tribes and apply the Zechariah 18:23 multiplier, where 10 strangers cleave to every one Yesharalite, the numbers are staggering. We are looking at 150 million exiting North America, 125 million rising from Latin America and the Caribbean, hundreds of millions more from Africa, Europe, and the East. This is not a local evacuation. This is a planetary recall. When 500 million people are taken in unison by the mighty hand of the Most High, the world doesn't just change, it cripples the global economy. I know some of you are shocked by the numbers. Why are there more strangers than Yesharalites in the projection? Look at Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. The ratio is 10 to 1. North America is the belly of the beast. The seed has always been the little flock in the midst of the majority. But remember, the seed is the leaven, and the strangers are the dough. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. We don't need to be the majority to lead the Exodus. We just need to be the light that the majority follows. When 20 million lions roar, 100 million others will follow them out of the cave. We are 90 days out. The Jeshobeam protocol is not a theory. It is a schedule. You don't need to agree with me. You don't need to like me. But you need to look at the clock. If I am wrong, we have lost nothing but a little sleep. If I am right, we are about to leave the world as we know and gain entry into a new kingdom. Check your lamps and don't forget your oil. I'll see you in the next Jeshobeam protocol briefing.
Shalom, family. I'm going to check into this. I'm going to have to pray on this. That's deep. And I know we will be regathered. That's a fact.